10 seconds, in 9, in 8, in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Happy 1994!
Yo, welcome back to 1994 was yesterday. For anyone who's new, just FYI, this is a podcast discussing hip-hop through the decades, the culture that surrounds it, and current affairs, basically in a nutshell. So follow us at 1994 was yesterday on Instagram, subscribe YouTube, iTunes, follow us on Spotify, and just basically that'll inform you to when we drop new shit on you. So with that out of the way, what's up?
Not much, man. How about you?
Good, just really hot. Basically, is just really hot. Basically,
Super hot outside.
unreal. But
It was thunderstorming this morning, kind of raining.
yeah, for
raining
sure.
heavy,
Yep.
and now it's not. Now it's
It's
boiling.
sweating hot. But such is life, I guess.
Such is life.
Well, I guess most recently the UK has left the EU for good.
Is that sad or, well, depending on some people, it might be sad. Some people might be happy.
Man, I watched like a thing and there was a lot of celebration going on. A lot of those people were of a lot older age, I would say, an older age group. Didn't look like there was many people sort of our age group or younger there. Looked like a lot of the, 45 to 50 plus. So, I mean, and majority, like, I don't want to be sort of go down that route necessarily, but white people,
That we're happy?
Yeah, that's celebrating.
Right.
With this dickhead called Nigel Farage.
Tell me more about Nigel Farage. What kind of toothpaste does this guy use? I could tell a lot about a guy from his toothpaste.
He uses that type of toothpaste that doesn't even have a color in it. Just that plain
that's
white.
the worst.
And when you brush your teeth with it and it feels like
Gritty
on your teeth?
Yeah.
That's that guy. Economy toothbrush.
Government toothpaste.
Yeah, yeah. He's a dickhead.
Shout out government, our sponsor for today, government brand toothpaste.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Don't buy it.
Don't
I
buy
like. What kind of toothpaste do you like? I like.
Colgate.
I like the Colgate gel
The gel?
with the little blue pieces of glitter in it, because I think
I know.
that cleans my teeth a lot better.
Well, we just got the one that has charcoal running through it. So
That's
all that
cool.
new shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're living in 2030.
I know. It's apparently supposed to be like extra whitening for your old teeth.
Yeah, right.
But interesting fact, did you know that how they have like red and green in toothpaste type thing? It's supposed to be like fluoride and whatever the other one is, mint or whatever. That's actually just coloring.
Yeah.
So there was like this whole like toothpaste war back in the day, and then it was either Colgate or one of the big companies was like, let's make it a color, and then they had this red and white striped toothpaste, and people were like, shoot,
And it worked.
and it worked because people need to see a representation of what's in the toothpaste, I guess. It sells.
That's wild. I used to be when I was younger, I was really into cinnamon toothpaste. For a while, there's one called Close Up. Shout out Close Up if they're even still a company.
Yeah, big up.
But Close Up was cinnamon flavored, and it was banging. And I could only do gels. I can't do pastes.
Can I just say, I'd never have, until I went to America, I had never had cinnamon toothpaste in my life. That's such a classic American thing to have. Like, yo, we need as much sugar as possible and sweet things. What else can we put it in? Toothpaste.
Yeah.
Let's
Or
get
bubblegum toothpaste.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's let our kids brush their teeth with bubblegum toothpaste and cinnamon toothpaste.
When you put it that way,
Crazy.
it's crazy.
Good way to get the kids hooked onto sweet tasting
Big Red
things.
and bubblegum. Because we had cinnamon flavored bubblegum too. You guys don't. It's not really a thing here.
Or-
Was it a thing in the UK?
No, I don't remember it being a thing in the UK.
It's weird.
Bland stuff we had.
Yeah. Boiled goose.
I've never had goose, but I would imagine that if I was to, it would be boiled for sure.
Shout out Andy Samberg from the Lonely Island. Do you remember that song?
Bro, I've actually just been watching, like, binging 99, Brooklyn 99.
It's easily
It's
one
just
of the best.
funniest shit ever,
Yeah,
man.
one of the best.
He's like
He's incredible.
funny, like, so, you know, Beastie Boys. Mm-hmm. So he just reminds me of, like, he would be like a new age Beastie Boy.
Yes.
Like he could do. He's like that's his whole
That's
thing,
so
right?
true.
Like it just.
Dang.
I was listening to Beastie Boys earlier today, like because it's relevant to later
Yeah.
on, and I was looking at some images, and I was like, that's just fucking him all over.
Like the Lonely Island was like a pop version of the Beastie Boys
Yeah.
when you think about it.
And Lonely Island was great. It was like
incredible.
so fun, and it was like. That was so great, man. I loved all that stuff. Dick in a box. That shit's hilarious. The video,
So
hilarious.
All the videos were
Yeah, dope.
genius.
Well, they just got a new season out.
Of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, on SBS for all you Australians out there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I remember when they said that they were stopping Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there was like a
whole thing.
outrage of people going, "Why are you killing off one of the greatest shows in TV right now?"
Yeah,
It's true.
it's great.
My wife watches it religiously.
Yeah.
Like she's definitely had to watch it 3 times through already. And I would like come to bed and she's already streaming Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm like, seriously, again? Then again, this is coming from the guy who streamed The Office. The last time I streamed it was the 9th time that I've been through all 9 seasons.
But
of
is
The
this
Office.
so the American Office?
The American Office that
Not the
was
original.
deserved 9 seasons as opposed to the original that didn't.
But I heard that Ricky Gervais still wrote.
Yeah. He's I
So
think
that's-
he's genius.
That's
It's just
you know I never even like gave the American Office a chance, to be fair, but since knowing that it's still written by him, I mean,
give it 3
effectively still,
episodes.
you know.
Give it 3 episodes, and
Yeah.
you'll fall in love.
All right,
the
I'm on
first
it.
the first episode is the hardest one to watch, even though it's one of my favorites. You got to give it 3 episodes, and then you start to get connected to the characters, and you go, oh, and the next thing you know, you wake up, and it's like 9 seasons later, and you're quoting it to everybody.
All right. Well, look, we're checking this time next week, and I'll let you know how I go with
Yeah,
The Office, American Office.
yeah.
So, briefly, in general sort of news type thing, just something that I just thought was super ridiculous. There's this kid obviously it's in America. Some kid in Texas, some high school there, he got suspended or he couldn't go to his like graduation thing or some shit like that because of his dreads because he wanted to wear them down or whatever, and that was against the dress code. But then females who, you know, even if they had dreads, they're allowed to wear them down. I mean, the fuck is that? It's 2020, bro. Like, wild. What do you think about, you know, what would you do if you were in that situation where, you know, your teacher was like, oh, you can't have like dyed hair, for example, or whatever, but then, you know, Karen behind you has pink and blue and fucking red streaks in her hair, and that's all good.
I definitely saw that story, and my heart hurt for it, but at the same time, we know, I don't even know, like there is no debate. At the end of the day, it's their natural hair. Like what? It doesn't make any sense at all.
And you know the crazy thing as well is like, in America, there's not, unless you're at a private school, correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't a dress code. There's no uniform.
Right.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
So if you have like schools like here in Australia or in the UK or some of the schools in Europe, like they have a uniform. So I can kind of, not that I agree, I can,
See why.
see a viewpoint at least. But I mean, with American school system, like you can rock up and, you know, obviously it has a uniform based, I mean, like rules and regulations.
Kind of dress code.
Kind of dress code, yeah. But it's messed up.
Hair is hair. Is hair. Is hair. So it's like, at the end of the day, these guys aren't out there. I don't know. Like nobody's in danger. You know what I mean? Nobody is.
Exactly.
It doesn't affect anybody else's life, and it's part of their faith. That's the craziest thing. Like, they're from Trinidad. It's their.
Yeah.
It's not only their faith; it's their culture.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm half Trinidadian, so like, I'm completely there with the dude.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
My Caribbean brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good little segue onto. Well, as like a completion, it's fucked up,
It is.
and definitely that needs to be addressed, but it's probably never gonna change.
It's so messed up.
But yeah, like I said, a good little segue into Black History Month.
Ooh.
I mean, I feel like it's more of a thing in America as a whole, and then slowly it's becoming a thing in other countries,
Right.
due to internet, that sort of stuff. What are your views on it as, like, you know, a young black youth growing up in New York City, in Brooklyn?
Well,
You know, how was that for you? If it was anything, even.
Yeah, as Latino in the States, you're lumped in with the black youth, as you just said. And I went to predominantly black schools.
Yeah.
In predominantly black areas for the most part. Half the time I went to predominantly black schools, and so pretty much at the end of my high school time. Black History Month was always something that we took pride in the schools. We would learn about, you know, this person, that person, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and they'd celebrate it, you know, and you'd have like quotes from Martin Luther King around school, and I saw the pride that would come into the black teachers, the teachers that were Zulu Nation, the teachers that were, you know, wearing the African garb, and it gave them a chance to showcase their culture. And it was like, it was cool. It was cool. I had a first grade teacher named Miss Dijon. I remember she was from...
Shout out Miss Dijon.
Shout out Miss Dijon. She adopted 2 girls from Nigeria.
Sick.
If I get the story correct, actually 3 girls. The kid's mother passed away, and while she was their teacher, and she pretty much fostered them. Not really adopted them, but they lived with her.
Yeah, wow.
They ended up becoming quite successful. They're 3 strong black women in America. Olyssa was the girl that I was in class with, and I don't know. There was something like I believe Miss Dijon was Trinidadian also. Like Afro Trinidadian, and I was influenced by so many great black educators that were telling me the truth all the time. They would teach us the truth, and that's the beauty of it, is that like when we reach a part of our social studies book, they'd go, well, it didn't really happen that way, but let's just teach you how the book says, and then I'll tell you what really happened. And it was like, that was rad, because you're able to learn like both sides of the coin, like how I guess the white American man sees it, and how the black American man sees it, or woman. But I heard I was listening to JRE yesterday, and he had a guy on, the guy that has converted heaps of KKK guys. Is a black guy.
Oh, okay, wow.
His name is, if I'm not mistaken, Darrell Wilkins.
Okay.
It's a brilliant podcast. I definitely heard of this guy before because he collects KKK robes after they decide to leave the KKK. So he first becomes friends with them as a black man, and then shows them, hey, we're not that different. And then eventually they, make a long story short, they give him his robe. So he's trying to create Darrell Davis, sorry, not Darrell Wilkins. Darrell Davis, and he's working on creating a KKK museum, because he believes that even though it's a dark part of our history, we should never destroy our history. We should know what happened in the past. Yeah, absolutely. And he is surprisingly against Black History Month. He thinks that it needs to end, and he is a black man fighting for black people, and he just says that it's holding us in an era where we can now move on from that, because we understand what Black history is. We don't need a month to celebrate it. We can celebrate Black history all the time. You know, it's woven into American culture. And once we decide to if it's Black History Month, then what does the rest of the months make it? White History Month?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I am very much in favour of this guy. So my sort of journey into understanding, in the UK, at least when I was growing up, like, you know, my mum was adopted into a white family, and my grandparents, they actually adopted all sorts of races of people, like there's Pakistani, cool. Chinese.
That's rad.
Like full African, you know, other white kids, you know, Indian even. And they were like, you know, people with the faith type thing, you know, and then, but at this time, you know, we're talking like the 60s, being in the 60s, like you don't, as white Christian people, that's very odd thing to do, is to adopt black babies or of color babies, different race babies, especially like from where I'm from. It's a very affluent type area, where it was anyway. And then growing up, it was just the only black people were my mum and this woman called Fola and this other bloke, I can't remember his name. His name's on the tip of my tongue. And that was it. And that was all I knew. So for me, I never really... And my mum didn't know about black culture because she was adopted as a baby.
Right.
So she only knew anything that she got taught type thing at school, which was probably hardly anything, and especially as in England, you don't really have anything that's like Black History Month. Maybe they do now.
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because our whole... relationship with like slavery is very different to how it was in America.
Right.
So then, you know, years go past, I'm at uni, and the first time I sort of like really dove into like and found out like this whole thing, Black History Month, and the rest of it was when I was studying American political science, and I was writing a essay on the KKK, and that's when I kind of learned all this stuff and the rest of it. And then moving forward, blah, 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 I lived in America on and off in America for like 6-7 years, studied in America as well, you know, worked for the Boys and Girls Club of America, and it was all very much inner city youth in San Francisco, all the rest of it. So I got an understanding of what black culture is to them, etc., and like all the rest of it. Now, when it comes to it being celebrated and all the rest of it, I completely agree with this
Daryl
Davis.
Daryl Davis. I don't know why I subscribe to the kin.
Yeah. I completely agree with him. I think that, and I think there's other people out there for sure. Let us know in the comments what you think. But I think it's ridiculous to have, in the sense of the same context of what, so then you're just subjecting black history to a month.
You're right.
Like just 1 month, and then that's it. And we don't talk about it anymore. We still continue, in America, for example, we still continue to learn from the books, and what they say is right, and have no one else questioning it, and that's what you get told. But during this 1 month in February, or like, it's from now until the end of February, right?
Correct.
Or beginning of March.
Yeah.
Then you can know real things and what really happened, who really invented this, that, and the other,
Right,
and who stole this idea and stuff.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the other 11 months, shut up and just listen to what you're saying, type thing, you know. So that kind of irks me, man. Like, I think that it should be something that is woven within the tapestry, to use what you had said. I think that, you know, there's so much that we don't know, that people of different ethnicities contributed to the world, and you get given a month to know about it.
Yeah.
Or it gets highlighted for a month. It's ridiculous. That's what I think.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I see exactly where you're coming from, and I just remember back to how excited these teachers were to go, okay, now is my chance to, and now is my chance to show you who the real inventor of peanut butter was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Or the telephone.
Or the telephone, right? So it's rad to see all that, but imagine if we didn't have to just subject it to a month, and they can just tell us all the time, and we can reroute the history books to tell the correct information.
Exactly, and you touched on how like some of your teachers were coming in like traditional African clothing or like their indigenous clothing, and it's like, well, why can't they just wear that whenever? Like maybe obviously maybe people don't want to, and I do appreciate that. Like if you have a period of time, then it is exciting for a younger person, and it's like, oh, we're doing this, like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like, and it's very exciting. But it's like, surely that excitement can be continuous throughout the whole of your schooling education.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't take going to university as an example to sort of really explore that. You know, crazy.
Would it though? Is it better to welcome in a general understanding throughout the year of Black history, or is it still good to have a month where you're not only deciding that month you're going to learn about Black history, but you're going to honor the Black history that has the people that have laid their lives down, the suffering that the changes that everyone had to go through, and almost so that we don't forget how everyone got here and why we are where we are today.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a scale thing, right? So when you're younger, it's very basic understanding, just like how everything else is. You know, you learn all the information that you know starts at a young age and just gets built upon and goes into more detail as you grow up, right? So it should be included within your baseline education of what do you call primary school when you're before high school?
Elementary
School, that's it. So in elementary school, baseline. And I think that it should be in way more detail as you get older, like everything else does. Right. I do think it's important to. I do think that it's good to have a focus, for sure. But again, it's like if we keep talking about it, like if you keep talking about something to an extent, it's like you have to let go as well. Like, yes, it is horrible. The way the Black people as a race were treated, are treated, etc. But also, if you hold on to something that's bad, it's just going to keep on affecting you and affecting every sort of decision that you make. If you take, imagine in Australia, for example, terrible what happened with Aboriginal people and everything there, right?
Right.
And it's like, I remember when I first came here and I saw there was a Aboriginal health clinic, and I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, so that's how it is, that there's that much segregation within this country still.
Right.
So for me, it's kind of like, the more you hold on to something, there's a difference between talking about it and celebrating it, than holding on to it and being that's not the right word, to be lost in the past and to really grip onto that. Man, like, it's all right. You can still make a difference. It can still count if you just be a bit easy with it. You take like in Germany, when all that shit was going down in World War II and all the rest of it, like, yes, you should definitely be talking about it and, blah, 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 and make it a part of history, and it is really important. But by the same token, the past is the past, and how can we continue in the future if we're still living in the past at the end of the day? That was really long-winded, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
it's super touchy subject.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying for the most part. It's something to think about. But
then, let us know what you guys think, all you listeners out there. Slide into the DMs or leave a comment. what do you think about Black History Month? Sort of, you know, where your head at with what we just said. One thing I will say though is that I do think that all these companies that sort of are profiting off of Black History Month really fucks me off. Something chronic. You know, like you have your Nike, your Adidas, New Balance, Under Armour, all releasing Black History Month shoes. Now, I appreciate what they're saying is, it's to celebrate black people and black lives and black history and everything like that. Which, yeah, I'm down for sure. But then, if that's really what it is, then why aren't you donating all the profits for that month of that shoe or that item of clothing, whatever, to, you know, charities or organisations that sort of are within the black community, or towards local businesses or programs for youth, or, you know, whatever it may be, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, it's
Pretty crazy.
I feel like it's just a money grab.
Massive money grab. Like, it's nuts.
Do you want to know something interesting? Because you mentioning the Holocaust and World War II, I was wondering what was the time difference? 9 years between the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement happened 9 years after the Holocaust. That's how soon the Holocaust was. Yeah, that's how close the Holocaust was. The Holocaust ended. 9 years later is when the Civil Rights Movement started. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Exactly.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Like you picture it on two completely separate ends.
That's exactly how I was thinking of it in my head. Yeah.
The Holocaust was just 9 years is nothing.
Crazy,
right? So the Holocaust ended, I guess you can say technically, A of May 1945. Civil Rights Movement started 1954.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so close.
Wild.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's, yeah. It almost puts it into perspective how just like you said, you know, obviously nobody's necessarily like there's no Jewish History Month.
No.
Yet.
That's kind of what I'm kind of getting at. Yeah.
But in terms of segregation, like not to drag the topic out even longer, growing up in a predominantly Jewish, I was right on the border. Like literally, my avenue was the border between the Jewish neighborhood and there's a block of Chinese, and then the rest was Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Latino neighborhood. When we ride past there, they'd all look at us real funny. They have their own fire brigade and their own ambulances. Yeah. Called the Hatzola. And I was told by Jewish friends that, you can't call the Hatzola unless you're Jewish. So it's wild to think that they have their own ambulances that won't really serve you unless you believe what they believe.
Well, yeah, it is
forced segregation, like by themselves. They're purposefully going out there and segregating themselves from everybody else.
And like I can understand from their point of view, you know, like maybe people don't have the same viewpoints, the same practices as what they do, and don't understand how, you know, what's important to said Jewish person. But by the same token, I mean, if you're laying there on the street dying, are you really going to care that much?
What if Rastafarians had their own ambulance and fire brigade? Will people be up in arms and going, "This is wrong"?
You know what I mean? They got dreads. They can't.
So a kid with maybe Rastafarian background can't let his dreads down, but a Jewish guy can have his own ambulance.
Crazy. America,
ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. We spoke a little too long about that sad topic.
Yeah, but yeah, do let us know what you think, because it is important overall, and it's important to celebrate everyone's culture for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
What if every month was a different culture's month? Well, that's rad, right?
There you go.
Because then in reality, you could have. I know it's going to be bad to say this, but you could have White History Month, Black History Month, Latin History Month, Chinese History Month. How about we learn about all the cultures? That's
Exactly.
rad. I'm
Like-
sure there's more than 12, but
I mean, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
that'll be sick.
It's crazy.
South American History Month, learn about the Mayans and stuff, you know?
Love the mines.
Or it's like Central American technically.
Syndrome. Yeah. But I mean, exactly. So I mean, someone put us in office because whatever.
I'll be the vice president
Yeah.
or the vice prime minister, or assistant to the, I don't know, whatever that position is. I want it.
Done. But in a bit lighter news to do with people doing good for their community and all the rest of it, Ludacris, as in
Luda.
move, bitch, get out the way, and Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Star.
I love him in that series.
I like him in the third one.
I like that he's just a smart, techie black guy.
It's good, isn't it?
It's amazing.
I bet you know what? I bet he's been a role model. There's so many, not just people, but like specifically because we're talking about Black History Month, like young black youths being like, well, if he's like some techie bloke, then I'm going to be a techie bloke.
Yep.
Because you kind of see, whatever you see, you do type
Your
thing.
heroes. You see your heroes.
Yeah. Well, being a hero, he donated $75,000 to some school in South Florida for musical instruments and like their whole program and stuff.
Come on.
Which is like, that's the sickest thing ever, man. But do you reckon that enough people, rappers, hip hop artists, give back to their communities, and do you think that they should even? Do you think they even have to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I mean, they earn their money, they should do whatever they want with it. But do you think that they should be getting involved in that way, or do you reckon they should just chill and just whatever?
I think that if you're called to give back to your community, you should do it. If not, nobody should shit on you. But
I agree.
Chance is doing a hell of a job giving back.
Yep.
I think it's important, man. I think especially if you come from an underprivileged community, it is important that you don't understand the amount of people that you inspire when you give back, right? So then they are now filled with spirit where they go, man, you know what? I want to get big now so that I can give back more too.
Yeah.
And then you lift up that entire community. So big ups to Ludacris. I absolutely love when, and I also think that there's a lot of celebrities that give back, and I love when they don't have to say anything, right? So we can think all we want about, we don't hear about into rapper's name here giving back, but they might, Method Man might have, might have like a school program that he funds. You never know, and it's none of our business. And it's cool when we do know about it because we could give them big ups. But at the end of the day, sometimes they're just trying to do humble stuff. If I'm not mistaken, Will Smith started like a chain of schools. Like
I actually did hear that.
Yeah.
Somewhere I read like a headline somewhere, or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I did know that.
But at the same time, is it like, is it a school based out in Calabasas for the extremely rich?
Yeah.
Or is it a school that's low cost but very high quality education where families from underprivileged communities can, send their kids there? We don't know.
But either way, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, exactly.
Yeah. I think my stance is definitely on the same on that, man. I think that it is good, but that people get involved, and I think it's good to be humble because they're not really doing it for anyone else; they're doing it for themselves, and fair play. What I do think is though that maybe less people probably want to do it because there's a lot of politics in it. But I think getting involved in how that with music, because I mean this is what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
With music, I think that they could definitely maybe be more involved in a level that contributes to the whole country, whatever country that may be that they are. I mean, I guess we're predominantly talking about America.
Yep. Shout out Alfie.
Shout out Alfie. Yeah, predominantly like America.
Yeah.
So do you think that maybe rappers or other artists of said hip hop genre, R&B, etc., whatever it may be, pop, country, or whatever. Is there a place for them to get involved with the way that music is delivered within the classroom?
Yeah.
Like I think that's where you got to go next. Mm-hmm. It's all well and good. It's all well and good giving 75 grand here and loads of instruments and all the rest of it. That's obviously that's great. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. But imagine if you were like a board of directees for that township or that state or city or whatever it is, and you actually implement real change into like
and not just in music, in art in general.
Yeah, and
all kinds of arts.
You have these people who are like bizarre, right? So you have this person who is like an education minister or whatever they are, and then they have someone who's this, that, and the other. But it's like, well, you take someone like, I don't know, Ludacris, because we're talking about him, and he's come from like very underprivileged sort of background, etc. And look what has become of him and his success, and hundreds of people like him. Imagine if they were the people who are helping to curate that music program.
That's
or
right.
Whatever that program is. So you take someone from that field, or a group of those, but you have a board of those people from that field, like 5 or 10 of them or something, and then they sit with the education minister, whoever that is.
Design a curriculum or something like that.
How sick would that be? What a legacy that would be to leave.
I'm even thinking like, what about, famous chefs from areas designing cooking programs for kids and all that kind of stuff.
Everything. Anything that you can think of.
Yeah.
There's a famous or a well-known person doing that.
Yeah.
So why not, like, with podcasting, Joe Rogan is probably one of the most famous podcaster people.
Yeah.
Now imagine if he had radio schools or whatever, like music tech schools, and they teach a radio portion. Imagine if he curated
that would be sick.
The curriculum on about podcasting and radio. He did that, combined with like a couple other like big radio hosts, famous people, and the rest of it.
That would be really cool, especially because a lot of people got into podcasting because of Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
and I enjoy his I mean, that's my favorite podcast ever. I enjoy his podcast, but how cool would it be to hear from people? Because they often have that saying, "Those who can't teach," right? How about learning, sort of pseudo learning from the person who actually made it and knows what works and what doesn't work?
Yeah,
that would be really rad.
Well, they do have that that masterclass. That masterclass YouTube thing or whatever it is, and that's great, and that's definitely a good direction.
Super good.
But imagine if they applied that to the schooling system.
Yeah. That'd be even rad to mix in master classes with actual school.
Yeah.
Like gym class, you're learning how to shoot threes from Steph Curry via the masterclass videos. You know what I mean? So you can maybe break that down within the month. You know what I mean? And go, hey, we're going to look at 30 minutes every gym class, and we're going to apply what he says to that. And the gym teacher is the facilitator of everything. So it's like, how many more kids would be into basketball because they admire Steph Curry and they go, oh, rad, I could learn to shoot threes like Steph.
Yeah.
I think masterclass is a brilliant tool.
Yeah.
Brilliant tool.
But yeah, if they applied that, if they used that as a tool within school, I can't believe no one's done that. Well, I mean, I'm not at school, so I don't know. Yeah. Maybe someone does do it, but maybe. It's a good idea, brother. Who are the people that we need to tell to get it sorted out, get it on?
I don't know. We gotta work our way from the bottom. So I think we gotta start at the council and then work our way up from there.
That's it.
Megan's eventually gonna be councilwoman though, so I'm rooting for her to get into politics.
Well, I'm there. I got your back.
She is what politics needs. So shout out to my wife because all her incredible visions and views on life are what's going to make the world a more beautiful place. Everything's rooted in kindness.
Need more of that.
Yeah. So, Megan 2030. Let's say that.
I back it.
Megan,
you heard it here first.
Got you, babe.
Alrighty. Moving on. So we spoke last week about Lil Wayne's album, Funeral.
And I mistakenly yawned.
Thinking it was Eminem. That's all right though.
Can I make a PDA real quick?
Yeah.
I noticed I've been a bit tough on Eminem. Not that it matters. Not that he knows that I've been tough on him, but I
Yeah,
feel
he's
like
there
I've
just
been
like,
just a
this guy.
this one weird guy from this podcast I never heard of. I feel like I've been a bit rough on it. I don't like the music, but he can do whatever the heck he wants because he's Eminem. And I think he charted 12 songs were in the top Billboard thingy majiggy. Like right now, apparently he has the most songs in history on the top Billboard. I don't know what the heck is going on, but
who cares?
the end, Eminem could do whatever excuse my language, whatever the fuck he wants. I just not vibing it. The end. All right, continue.
I agree, and I think who cares that he has 12 songs in the
It's all
the
fake
charts?
stuff anyway. You know how they do that? We'll explain another episode of how they create these bogus Billboard charts.
Later on, that could actually come into play anyway.
Let's do it.
But yes, Lil Wheezy F. Tunchi. So mistakenly, I said 12th studio album, 13th studio album for all those pedantic people out there.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. So from my understanding, it's an answer to his last album, which is called, now the name has escaped me.
The Carter something. The
Five.
Carter 18.
Well,
like.
that was the most recent album, but there was whatever, it doesn't matter.
I'm looking it up now anyway.
So what did you think overall on Lil Wayne's album?
I didn't like it personally. It's just not my vibe. Lil Wayne's never been my vibe, and that's all right because we all have different. That's the beauty of the world. We all have different perspectives and different views, and we can all appreciate each other and not have to hate on each other because we don't believe what the other person believes. Was it Welcome to the Concrete Jungle or Face to Face?
No.
Superfly.
It's something to do with like funerals, not funerals, the opposite of funerals.
Oh.
Like Risen, some shit like that. I can't remember. And it don't matter.
But yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of Lil Wayne. Rebirth,
Thank you.
Rebirth,
I think
2010.
Yeah, so I think this was like Funeral was like kind of like the flip side of that.
Yeah, he's released a lot of music since then, though.
Well, so
Jeez.
on the Zane Lowe interview on Apple Music, he said that he's got 20 albums worth of songs still to go.
Lord Almighty, that's incredible.
So wild.
How do you feel about it? I know that you are a Lil Wayne fan, so talking to someone who's not that much a Lil Wayne fan, you being a Lil Wayne fan, how did you like the album?
I think it started off good. I think the middle kind of lost its way a bit, and then the end kind of picked up.
Do you blame that on albums, on the length of the album? Do you think you would have had the same perspective if it was shorter, a EP, 5 songs, mixtape?
Well, I think for me, 5 songs is not enough. But I think, I definitely think 24 songs, man, that is a lot of songs to get through. Like, we've talked about this before, like, you know, off podcasts, and talked about how shorter people have like a longer span, concentration span, and the rest of it. And like, look, I'm all for back in the day, you know, 24 songs, and they release a double album with 24 on each disc or whatever. But man, that's a lot of music. And like you said, I think you said it last week. Like, how many of those songs are you actually going to listen to?
Right.
Or we spoke about it somewhere along the lines. You were like, how many of those songs are you really going to listen to like over and over again? And with this album, that's definitely something that doesn't. I'm not about to sit here and listen to that album again anytime soon. Maybe a couple of tracks. But
Would it be cool if he released one every fortnight? Would you more have bumped that than an entire album?
Yeah, definitely, because it will just, I'll be like, oh, that's sick, I'll put it on the playlist. And then it'll be on the playlist. And then, you know, 2 weeks later or a month later, another track comes up. Oh, cool, that's
I think
cool.
that's a new music model, man.
Man, you touched on this before.
Yeah.
I don't think it was on the podcast. I think it was just
Casually.
conversation. Yeah, you had mentioned a track a month.
12 tracks.
12 tracks.
1 year. That's pretty much the length of a what I would consider a decently length album.
Yeah, I think 12 tracks is, for me, maybe 13, but I mean 12 is the one. And I think, yeah, if Lil Wayne had, there's a lot of tracks he could have just taken out and chucked on a mixtape.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, as a studio release album, man, shorten that shit, 12, done. One thing that was cool was that he kind of, on the outro, there was like a 24-second silence.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that.
And then 24 tracks. I mean, I don't know if that was specifically because of Kobe passing away or because he'd already done that, but I mean, it's potentially a nice little nod. From my understanding, he hasn't really said anything about it, but they were mates and that, so wouldn't be surprised.
And the 8th song.
On the 8th song.
Big James.
Yeah. Yeah, good little nods. But what I will say is that his metaphors are still on point.
Yes, that's something that I cannot deny.
I wrote one down. Let me find it.
His metaphors are incredible. That's something that, you know what, I'm not a huge fan of Lil Wayne, but his metaphors are on point. I wonder who wrote this metaphor that you're about to.
Okay, so where the fuck did I put it?
Which we were earlier talking about how Lil Wayne doesn't write his own music, so does he get professionals to write these metaphors?
No, so what he does is he writes. He doesn't write anything down specifically.
Yeah.
So what he'll do is he'll go into the booth,
Freestyle.
and then just freestyle it out until something picks up, and then he'll go with that, or he'll just record it on his iPhone, like on voice memos or whatever.
Right. So you don't mean he doesn't write his own music, as in he
just
has
mean-
ghostwriters.
as in
you
he
mean he
doesn't-
physically
physically
does
doesn't
not
write.
sit down and write and try to focus on rhymes and this and that.
Yeah, so he doesn't have like a rhyme book,
Right.
so
right.
to speak.
Gotcha. That's again changes my perspective on Lil Wayne, because I thought you meant, because I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
So when you said he doesn't write his own music, he doesn't write his music, I thought you meant he doesn't write his own music, as in he has ghostwriters.
No, he just doesn't.
Drake.
Yeah. So all his stuff from, I think it was like, I don't know. I'm not going to even say because I can't remember. But there's like a turning point. He was like, I'm not going to write anything down anymore. And then, so everything is all just. And then what he has to do, I watched an interview 8 years ago, is that he then has to like learn the song to be able to perform it like on stage and stuff.
Makes sense.
I found that lyric that I was thinking of. His line was, "Pistol whip you till you know the serial number by heart."
That's pretty cool.
Like, that's so sick. And then like when you get like an image of that, like pretty horrible, like getting, pistol whip with a gun. But then it's like he's hit you so badly that the serial number of the gun that's engraved in the gun is now embedded into your like your face or your body. Like it's pretty impressive, you know. And when I was sort of like writing some of the stuff up, I was like on Facebook real quick. I don't really go on Facebook very often, but they have Facebook memories. So 10 years ago yesterday, I actually posted up Lil Wayne lyrics, and they another like amazing metaphor lyrics, which go as I think it's a track he did with Eminem, funny enough. I got ice in my veins, blood in my eyes, hate in my heart, love in my mind. I've seen nights full of pain, days were the same. You keep the sunshine, save me the rain. I search but never find, hurt but never cry. Sick.
Yeah.
Like that
His
flow,
rhymes
that flow is
are fire.
And that's it, and that's the thing. Like, so he said in this interview how he wanted to be more current, in the sense of this album, in line with like how the people were doing it today. Like all like the shit music today.
Yeah.
Hence why the middle part of his whole album, which is the majority of the tracks, are a bit crap.
Right.
Some of the beats are alright, But yeah, overall,
Out of 10?
well, not very high. Like a 6.5, maybe a 7. But that's just because metaphoric. Like his lyrics,
His lyrics
his
always,
skill set
yeah,
is
his skill set. I just don't think his delivery is very good.
This is what's so annoying. So with this album, it's like there's a few tracks that his delivery is like sick, and then the rest of it is just falls at the wayside because it's just like all that mumble bullshit.
Yeah.
But do you think that people should, like Eminem, trying this newer stuff and all the rest of it? Like you just said, how he should do whatever he wants, but also should he not just stay in his own lane? Like, you know what I mean? Like keep that shit to mixtapes and whatever, like actual studio music you're releasing, you know, what do you reckon? Or maybe he should keep, or maybe studio music should be the new shit and then mixtapes should be the actual real good stuff.
I have no answer for that. I don't know. Everyone's so different.
But can you imagine like Nas just coming out with an album that's like how Lil Wayne's is and Eminem's is being like trying to be like all current and all the rest of it, like
No, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you. The thing is that from the way that I look at it, Lil Wayne's music is the reason current music is current. Like, so Lil Wayne, in my eyes, Lil Wayne birthed this whole, because a lot of these rappers today, the current rappers, grew up on Lil Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to a friend a while back, Phil, and he was telling me how, because I told him, I was like, fuck, I've never paid attention to Lil Wayne. The only time I paid attention to Lil Wayne and I gave props was in Forever, which was Drake, like our early Drake song featuring Eminem, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, a couple, I forget who else was on there, but
That's actually a good tune too.
it was real good. And my favorite line from there, which I knew that's what I was like, oh, Lil Wayne has bars. Is he said like, hopped into the car and told my chauffeur to the top, life is such a fucking roller coaster, then it drops, but what should I scream for? This is my theme park. I was like, oh my God. Like this guy is incredible. Like what the heck? Like
That's sick.
It was wild. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's telling stories now. Like it's not so and then Phil told me, he's like, yeah, Lil Wayne bumps, man. And I told him Lil Wayne was after my time. I found him annoying in a way. Like after my time as in I wasn't paying attention to him. I was already into like hardcore and other metal and rock and stuff, so I wasn't paying attention to him. And I forget like cats like Phil, who's now he's like performing and he's like making albums and he's doing his thing and he's, you know, making his way to the top. He grew up on Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? So it's like to him, Lil Wayne is a G. But to me, Lil Wayne was like that annoying rapper guy. And then when you look at other Lils, all the Lils, Lil Wayne was the first Lil. Like when you really think about it, you know what I mean? It's like all these other cats are getting inspired by Lil Wayne. So I understand his impact is incredible. And we have some pretty good songs just out there in the world today thanks to Lil Wayne's influence. Because I fucks with a lot of the new stuff. I like Lil Tecca. I bump Lil Tecca. You know what I mean? When Lil Yachty first started, I bumped Lil Yachty for a bit. I've definitely bumped a Lil Pump track once or twice in my life. All the Lils, I understand. But at the same time, it's like make a long story short, I get it. I get why people like him. I don't see it for myself.
Well, I mean, again, a few tracks that I put on my playlist, and then the rest of it, I wouldn't care less if I ever heard it again. For me personally, like, I think I touched on this last week as well. You know, Wayne went to Rikers Island after Carter 4, or after I'm Not a Human Being, rather. And then everything since then, since he came out of Rikers, has been, in my opinion, a bit shit, basically. Like, he lost that, like, Lil Wayne-ness. You know what I mean? Like, he started being a lot more mumbly, a lot more just terrible. And
I think that the drugs had tons to do with it.
What, with
his
him being
brain
good
is
before or
destroyed.
after? What, afterwards?
So when he came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's funny because usually when rappers come out of prison, they're like, they got all this new shit, and it's like, oh shit, like this guy.
He had the life in prison. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So many people
I bet it was
loved
like
him.
Yeah, I bet he had as good a time as you could.
Bro, he had
probably
a
have.
Tempur-Pedic in prison, bro. Like a straight koala mattress, bro. Like this guy, he definitely had ice cream bar. He had liquor on tap. Like he was. I'm sure he was treated nice.
King of Rikers for sure.
Come on, man. Especially when you're a celebrity in those spots, like you got people that take care of you. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been fine, and I'm sure he's taking care of the guys.
And that's
that took
probably
care of him.
why, like, no good music came out from that experience
Mm-hmm.
because it was a good experience,
Right.
Or as good as it can be. But I think he needs to stick to a shorter length album, focus on their metaphors, that lyrical skill, that flow, and then we got another Carter 4, 3, 2 banger.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, he sucks. On that album.
Dang.
On that album.
Comes from a fan, y'all. That comes straight from a guy who genuinely likes Lil Wayne.
Yep. Well, moving on. So, trying out like a new sort of like segment, first impressions.
Yep.
I thought it could be cool. So, just sort of a brief first impression on a couple of tracks that released either this week or the past week rather, or just tracks in general.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there in the world wants to get our first impression on a track, just slide in DMs, comment, hit us up, let us know a track, and we'll definitely give you our first impression on it. But for this week, there's 5 tracks I got.
Yeah.
So the first one is the new Royce da 5'9", I Don't Age.
Yep.
What do you think?
I like Royce.
I like Royce.
I think anything he makes, I'm kind of gonna like because I'm a bit biased with that. You know what I mean? I like Royce, man. So again, I'm gonna be biased. I liked it. It wasn't memorable,
That's for sure.
but I didn't hate it.
Look, I think that, I definitely agree with you. It's a bit whack. But I think the beat was pretty sick.
The beat was sick.
He could have done so much more with it. Like, I would like to have seen like a sort of a catch and throw, catch and release type vibe with it. Like going back and forth with the beat because it's that type of beat and it needs, that would have been like the one. But yeah, I don't know. Not that much substance to the lyrics or anything like that.
Out of 10?
Personally. Did I? 4?
3.
Ooh, all right, I'm going 3.
And I
too.
like him.
I'm going 3 as well. I thought I was just being generous with 4. The motherfucker going 3. 3 out of 94.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, so Young MA. Or Young Ma, maybe.
Young MA.
2020 vision.
She's another thing though is that I don't bump to her music now, but when she was younger in Brooklyn, oh my God, watch your fucking back, because that girl was vicious.
Wow.
Everyone was buzzing about Young MA.
So what happened?
She got stardom. That's what happened.
Well,
Stardom.
And that's literally like my problem with the track is that like all she's talking about, and I know a lot of people have done this. I know a lot of people do this, but it's boring. We already know, this is how I made my first million. I'm so fucking silly. It's like, just shut up.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. No one cares. Like, you're all like in a limousine, all cramped up as fuck.
Brag hop.
Yeah, brag hop. Yeah, it's just, your clout is shit.
New title right there, brag hop.
Whack
It's
music.
the whack music.
So yeah, get away from my ear holes.
Young MA, if you bump her old stuff, you'd see she was vicious, my man. Like vicious. And then all of a sudden she got stardom. and she got soft.
Yeah,
She got soft.
it's so whack. It's so like unsubstance. It's just nothing. It's literally nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing. But
Out of 10,
1
I give it a 2 just because I have respect for her as a person
and past shit.
and her past stuff. 2.
2. All right. Yo
Next.
Gotti, more ready than ever.
I'll let you go first.
So he's got a new album out actually,
Right.
and I just picked like the song release.
Yep.
Beat is fire.
Beat-
I was
Beat is
like,
nice.
as soon as it came out, I was just like, ooh. I'm just gonna read off what I wrote because it's just easier. Full bodied, like as a whole thing. It's
Like
just
just coffee. Yep.
yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just real tasty. Again, not the best lyrical sort of induced tune, but could easily bang it out. Like the way I see it is that like you're cruising down the street. It's like a warm summer's
6'4".
day in the 6 for how. Yeah, it's a warm summer day. You got the roof down or the windows down or whatever, and you're just bumping this track.
Yeah.
like you don't know any of the words. You're never gonna know the words, but who cares about the words?
You feel good.
But you're feeling good. And it's a great time. That's how I feel about the track.
Yeah. I can't say I'm a fan of him,
Yeah,
but I like good singles. And it's a
good
I go on a single to single basis. I haven't heard the album. I don't think I will. I'm not even gonna lie and say, yeah, I'll check it out. It was all right. I'm not gonna add it to my playlist, but it was
never. Oh no,
alright.
I would.
Out of 10.
Because that summer vibe, man, it gets me. I love that summer vibe. I'm gonna go like a 6.
I'm gonna go 4.5.
6.5.
Okay.
Just because, like, I just know that feeling, and
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
crank it.
You're
and I'm just
trying
there.
to channel you in your mind. It takes you there.
Yeah, 100%. So purely because of that, that's where I'm at.
You know what else takes you there though?
What?
I wish we had a sponsored drink so that we can just go this drink right here and make a little bit of money, but we don't. Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff's "Summertime."
That's exactly the song that I have in my head.
Yeah.
And that takes me there. As soon as that comes on, it's just like,
Yeah, you feel good.
or the festival song by Australian dude Pez, I think it is. It's probably not Pez,
Yeah, I don't know.
but if you Google or type into YouTube the festival song and like Australia or something like that, that song, I'll play it for you afterwards. It's like a vibe. And
Yeah, cool.
And it's nice. Next track, second to last. Lil Nas X featuring Nas.
I'll have a conflicting view from you,
Yep.
but I like Lil Nas X. I think his melodies are pretty fun. He's fun. I don't think he's actually trying to be a rapper. I think Lil Nas X is just riding this Old Town Road wave out. He made Panini. What was this one called? Rodeo?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, rodeo.
So, Old Town Road, riding it. Panini, still riding it. Rodeo, he's going down a little bit, but he's riding it. And big ups to him, bro, because you know what? If I was Lil Nas X, I'd put out 3 tracks. Peace, see y'all later. Buy myself a couple houses. Thank you for your time, y'all. But his melodies are not bad, and that's why I could fucks with it. Now, on the other side, I was a bit disappointed in Nas a little bit. It's like
A little bit, that's an understatement.
I get that you're trying to. I get that it might look like you're reaching your hand out to the youth.
Yeah.
But it almost looks like you're reaching your hand out for a little bit of cash.
100% cash.
You know what I'm saying?
How,
Keep it. I know you got a lot of things to say about this. But,
I actually have, contrary to that, I have very little to say.
Oh,
I thought the beat was all right. I like the sound. I like Lil Nas X's voice, the sound of his voice.
yep.
It's quite,
How round it is.
yeah, it's quite a good voice.
Shout out to him being gay too,
Yeah.
holding it down.
I'll
for the
come
other
on
gay
to that.
cowboys.
I'll come on to that in a sec. But basically, it's a nothing track. I have nothing to say about it. Nas is like supposed to be the king, and I think he's let fucking everybody down.
Oh man, he was the king in the '90s, though.
He's still
No, don't tell me that. No,
Illmatic.
he's still
Illmatic.
He's still
Illmatic. That's the only argument that you have is one word, Illmatic. One album title, Illmatic. So the question is why bother? And you've already answered it.
Yeah.
Because he's for the money. Does he need the money? No. So why are you doing it? I have
Maybe
no
he does
idea.
need the money though. Maybe he had a few bad investment deals.
Well, I know that.
Could you use an extra couple $1 million?
Yeah,
let's
of
be
course.
real, bro. Come on.
It's not. It's
Out of 10,
fucking no, 0.
-3 out of 10. Is that what you're saying?
100% negative everything. Negative 94.
I
This
give
guy's
it-
an idiot.
I give it a 8.
He's such a knob. But what I will say though is
I give it an 8
such a
because it pisses you off, and
such a
that's why
prick.
I'm giving it an 8. Put that in the history books.
well,
1994 was yesterday. It gave, what was the song called again? Rodeo.
Rodeo.
An 8.
terrible song. It's not even that good. Anyway, you touched on it earlier. Lil Nas X is same-sex type of guy.
Yes, sir.
So
Along with Tyler and Frank Ocean.
yeah. So what are your thoughts about coming out as gay within hip hop, R&B?
I think it's
rap,
rad.
that sort of thing?
I think for a long time they've had it was very anti-gay. It was a
for
lot.
sure.
It was a real the use of the word faggot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The use of the word just gay in general with a negative connotation to it, as a diss being used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've all done it. We've all used it,
Mm-hmm.
especially being a cat riding stuff. You're making diss tracks. You want to
Yeah.
offend the person as much as possible. That's what the
course.
'90s was about, really, in hip hop. But we're growing. We're growing. Times are changing, and I think that's rad. Like, I know Tyler's not full gay; he's bi, but that, you know how many other cats that inspire and makes them feel like they're all right. Like, all right, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's great. I think it brings the conversation into sort of like a world that it hasn't really been in before, which is awesome. And people seem to be quite accepting of it, which of course they should. Like, my whole thing with it is that like it shouldn't matter. Obviously, it shouldn't matter whether you're gay or not. It shouldn't even be a conversation of like, oh yeah, like I'm a gay guy or whatever. It's like it doesn't matter.
But
It doesn't matter. Like you do whatever you do, type thing. But it's good that it's being talked about and recognised within hip hop because there's definitely been a lot of negativity around it in the past.
true. But do you think there's gonna be people coming out as bi just so that they can get that leg up?
Look, it wouldn't surprise me. It's not like, you know, in the past people haven't used their looks to get a step up within their jobs in every day. And I'm certain that actors and actresses alike as well have used their looks or who they are to their advantage, and same with rappers and everything.
I mean it as the same way that Lizzo has a gigantic leg up from the plus size woman community because she's a representative of that.
Okay, sorry.
Will somebody?
Completely misunderstood that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yes, I do. 100%.
So do you
course.
think that some people will go, oh, well, you know, I can use this bi or gay thing to have, and the gay community is so supportive with their artists, with
Yeah,
their with,
massive.
with anybody. Like, the gay community is one of the tight knit, like, super supportive communities.
Yeah.
I'd say more supportive than the white and the black community, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see...
Like, they would
I'd say so.
It's different. Like, a white guy might support another white guy because he's white. A black guy might support another black guy just because he's black, maybe. But a gay guy most of the time might support a gay woman or a gay man because they're part of their team.
Yeah.
And the support is there. So I feel like you reckon there's be people that are going to be capitalizing on that support and going, well, here's a quick way that I can, you know, make it a little bit further.
Yeah, 100%. People, a lot of people are opportunists. You know what I mean? Like they say that sometimes when people steal things, they only steal them because the opportunity is there to be taken. No one else is looking, so I just take it.
Yeah.
So you apply that same sort of logic, like with this. Yeah, of course, people can take opportunity of it, and just like the big, record companies and the rest of it, they'll definitely take whatever way, whatever angle there is to make money. People do it, and it might not be money, it might be, for some other reason, but if that increases your fan base, then why not? It wouldn't surprise me if, not like Kanye West, for example, his fan base has now, I don't know, 10 times as big as what it was before, and he has the Christian or the religious community or sort of backing for him to an extent.
But how many fans did he lose after doing that?
Not as many. I don't think so. I don't think because obviously, there's a bit of give and take. You can lose to the, but think how many people are of faith who are like, I'm not going to listen to hip hop at all or rap because it's X, Y, Z.
I get you.
And then, you know what I mean? Whereas someone who's already been listened to him is like, well, I still like it.
Yeah.
I still yay. I still get it. I think it's cool. He's just talking about something different. So people, I'm not saying that that's what he did, but I'm just saying that's a kind of an example of like, I think people definitely do shit to their advantage. But anyway, last but not least, Jadakiss, Rick Ross, and Imani, Kisses to the Sky. Oh, Kisses to Sky. Jada's first and second verse were like super sick. Classic Jada. The beat was like classic Jada.
He's a savage.
I was just like...
You felt warm, right?
Yeah, I felt warm. I felt real comfortable. As soon as Rick Ross started talking, I was just like, shut up. I thought his verse was just shit. And it kind of let down the whole track. We've talked before about having shorter tracks.
Yeah.
That could have been a 2-verse, 2-hook.
Yeah.
And then just something to end it.
Yeah.
Boom, done. Didn't need Rick Ross on that at all. At all. This dude, Imani, I don't really know.
No, me either.
But his vocals were sick on it.
Yeah.
So, it was a good little radio release for Jada.
Good radio release for Jada. Something to make people remember he's still around.
Yeah. Just like, yo, I'm still here.
Yep.
I'm just chilling.
Still
like,
being a legend.
Exactly. Because he is a legend.
Still there.
Yeah.
No. On the side note, though, he had a track with Gangstar, with Guru, called Right Where You Stand. And he said, and I quote, and I think this is the dumbest shit he's ever done in his life, right? He said, when you're done, I'll take when I get your man's, I'll take his Timberlands. Oh no. Dang, because you know what? I'm trying to remember. My memory is pretty good, and I don't even like this track, so I'm trying to remember the lyrics. Right? He goes, "I'll take your Timberlands off and pass them right to your man's. J to the mwah, and I'll leave you right where you stand." J to the what? I said, "Excuse me? Did you just throw a kid? That's unsolicited affection, sir."
But appreciate it.
J to the moi, and I'll leave you right where you stand. And it sounds sick though. It's Jadakiss, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there. Shout out Jada for holding it down. Jada Pinkett Smith and Jadakiss. All the Jadas out there.
All the Jadas.
Including the Jade bracelet you could buy at Chinatown for $5.
$5.
That's the best version of Jada.
All right, moving on.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, actually, not moving on. We're going back.
Oh, okay.
Radio release.
Huh?
So, do you think that radio even matters? Do you think it had?
No.
Where does it fit?
Doesn't.
Do you think that it matters about radio plays and stuff?
No. Yes, it does matter. It does matter about radio plays, because bullshit ass record companies actually pay attention to that garbage. Radio is a weird mafia, monopoly, strange money. I just don't fucks with radio at all. I don't fucks with DJs on the radio. I just playlists, the robots of the future. The end.
Okay, so you said how like execs are sort of playing a close ear to radio plays, right?
Yes.
Why do radio plays matter when surely, if you look at it as a statistic thing, most people are listening to their music via
Streaming
services? And not only that, it's like, okay, but in their car, but it's like, yeah, but pretty much all cars have Bluetooth, or you can get something that plays Bluetooth, or you can plug it in, or whatever.
Exactly.
So then what relevance does...
They're not relevant.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
The end.
Not relevant.
I think radio's like, people are always riding radio's dick for no reason. Like, I just don't get it. It's like, who, I mean, it's a old trade, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's rad to be. I remember like bumping Hot 97 to Funk Master Flex on a Friday night. Ooh. Like,
yeah,
I remember listening out for that song. But now you can listen to that song whenever you want, wherever you want.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So then the question is you know, you have like Apple Music, for example, and they have radio shows on there, like your Beats one and all the rest of it, or even on YouTube you have what's it, Charlemagne the God? What's his radio show called?
Breakfast Club. Right.
So do you think that's the better medium for that's like new radio? Do you think
it's just podcasts? Really?
It's kind of
the talk part of radio is now podcast. The music part of radio is now playlist.
Okay.
The end. There's no need for radio. Radio is dead.
So do you think that maybe there's a place to? So what you're saying that they shouldn't be combined anymore? Because we're not gonna sit here and bump, you know, a 2, 3, 4 minute track, not talking to each other whilst it's being recorded.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why would you want to turn on a channel or anything that has music that somebody else wants to play if you can just choose to play the music that you want to play? You know when you're in the car with somebody and you pass them the aux cord and you're like, fucking seriously, dude? Like, you're putting on this thing that nobody knows? Like,
that's
put on a track that everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm handing the aux cord and I'm the DJ in the car, because at that point you're the DJ.
Yeah.
You start breaking out the tunes that everybody could sing along to. That's your job. You can't be like, oh, guys, check out this new Earl sweatshirt. Like, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they ask you, oh, what's new shit that you've been bumping? And then you get that reputation of, oh, he always bumps new shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, my coworkers follow my playlist, Belly's Bangers.
Yeah.
And I'm always bumping whatever the stuff that I bump, whether it's new, old, whatever. If it's new to me, I'm putting it on there, and that's my playlist that I go through.
Yeah.
We'll make a 1994 was yesterday playlist on Spotify where we'll put our, know, the stuff that we bump on.
Absolutely.
But if you don't like something on a playlist, you can just skip it or play your own thing. That's the beauty of it.
So for you, radio is definitely a pastime.
Just like TV.
And
broadcast television, sorry.
And so broadcasting in general.
Dead.
And you feel there's not really a place for within radio, within that sort of topic of music and conversation to be combined.
Oh, for sure there is, yeah.
But I mean, as in like playing music, and then.
No, I think it's just awkward.
It's weird.
I want to either listen to someone speak or I want to either listen to music. I don't want Funk Master Flex stopping it every 5 seconds to go, Funk Master Flex.
Yeah,
and then playing the music, really, and then 30 seconds later he starts it over again. It's like, what's this shit, bro? You know how many times he starts tracks over and over?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to listen to.
It's like, I'm over it. I don't even want to go to the fucking club, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to even listen to live DJs play stuff. I want to go listen to the artists that I want to listen to, see them live, see them play their stuff. I'm not going to go to the club and listen to some guy just bumping other people's music. It's like, what's the point of that? Just put on chuck on at our wedding. We just chucked on a playlist.
Yeah,
You don't
done.
even, we didn't
Easy.
even have a DJ picking the music. It's like, what? You have a public playlist that people can add tunes to, and it'll just keep playing down, and whatever you guys want to hear is what everybody's going to hear. If it's whack, we'll just press skip. The end.
That's quite a good way to do it, because if you think that, like, if I was to have a DJ as an example, I'd be like, these are the tracks that you're playing.
Yeah.
Don't be playing anything else other than this shit that I want to hear, because that's what I like to hear.
Right.
And my friends, the people who can be there, that's what they like to hear. So effectively, all they're doing is pressing play at that point.
Right. And mixing it.
Yeah.
Which is a skill. Mixing is a skill.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To hold the crowd and all that stuff. But it's like, I get, if you're a DJ, like I got a boy, Parker, right? Who's a DJ, EDM, whatever that genre is. He makes his own shit at the house, makes his own mixes, and then goes out and plays it. So people like Parker's mixes. You know what I mean? Parker's beats, all that stuff. That's rad. I think that's sick. But you wouldn't book somebody if they're just going to press play on a playlist anyway. You know what I mean? That you're just paying tons of money for that now. It doesn't make any sense. That's my thing on it.
There we have it.
You heard it here first. Not that it matters, but...
It matters.
Oh, we should have named the podcast Not That It Matters.
Ooh. Still time.
Maybe in another life.
Moving on. Any sort of products that you come across recently or anything like that within our sort of grasp that you like the look of? Think are cool, deserve a shout out?
No. No. Scoop and Way in Cronulla. There's a Scoop and Way place, and I just discovered like the beauty of Scoop and Way.
Yeah.
Not like the Coles Scoop and Way.
What is it?
They just have like a bunch of random ass stuff that you can just like buy in bulk and bring your own containers in and fill up your containers.
Food.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah. So you can like not just nuts and pick and mix and that kind of stuff, but like I got chocolate covered freeze dried strawberries. That's rad. You know what I mean? Or you can Scoop and Weigh soap berries to wash your clothes. You know what I mean? Like you just scoop and weigh whatever the heck you want.
That's kind of cool. Good little concept.
Cashew butter. You know what I mean? Like you just get the amount that you need.
Well, I mean, that is a good sustainable... Got there in the end. Good sustainable future, you know, just take what you need. That's how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
As in, like, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Just take what you need and then leave the rest.
Just go up to the deer, chop his leg off, and then bring his deer home, you know, and then let him just chill.
Whatever, yeah. It's all good.
What about you?
Nah. Pretty much. That's it. Just
cool. Cronulla Scoop and Way. Sponsored by Cronulla Scoop and Way.
Yeah.
Go visit them. They're actually not called Cronulla Scoop and Way. They just...
No?
You'll figure it out.
There you go.
If you just type in Cronulla Scoop and Way, it's called like Earth's Choice or some generic ass bullshit name.
That doesn't surprise me that that's the name at all.
Earth's Voice.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This week in 1994 hip hop, we had Beastie Boys actually released an album called Some Old Bullshit, and it was not at all what I was expecting. It's like full hardcore, and it's from
Hardcore
like
Boys.
Yeah, it's from their like a bunch. It's a compilation basically of all their shit from the 80s, which is all hardcore basically. So it's pretty interesting to see sort of how they were. But then later on in 1994, they actually released Ill Communication, which is like a banger. So if you guys out there haven't heard it, go look it up. It's pretty damn good. Beats on fire.
And you don't have to wait for the DJ to play it. You can just go on Spotify and look it up.
There you go. There you go.
You can discover new music.
It's the truth.
New to you, old to the world.
ADOR released The Concrete, which is the single. I'd never heard of even this person.
Me either.
When I was trying to like look it up and stuff, there's an album that is like best hits or whatever, which was released in 2002, but this song came out in 1994.
Yeah.
There's like no trace of an album or anything. But this track is an absolute beast. It has all the early 90s feels that you would want from it. It's absolutely sick. They sample a trumpet, or he samples a trumpet, which, check it.
Rad.
It's sick. It's the jam. And then Down South released Lost in Brooklyn.
Down South.
Down South, yeah. Really sick.
Cool.
Very.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. Beats are great, very sort of classic boom bap. A lot of like wind instrument influences, samples and shit. Really good vibe. Yeah, a couple of standout tracks, but yeah, it's worth a listen, man, for sure. But yeah, moving on. Anything going on in Sid this week that you know of?
Just one thing I know of. Vibey AF. Catch a Vibe in Lord Gladstone on Saturday.
Yeah.
Trying to find the time. 10 p.m. till late, I believe. It's a bushfire relief show. So they got a couple artists on. I don't know what the vibe is with this, or what, if it's a specific genre, or if they're mixing genres, but I got a boy George who runs it. So
Shout out George.
Vibey, yeah, shout out George, shout out Wisdom Noises. Vibey AF Sydney is their handle, and they'll just be at the Lord Gladstone.
Yeah, sick.
That's all I know. That's going on this Saturday. So
Yeah, I don't know anything else really, to be fair. I didn't have a massive big look into it, but yeah, there was nothing that sort of shouted out straight
just
away.
Google it.
Google
You
it.
got two hands and a keyboard.
Now you can Google things. You don't even have to wait to look in the newspaper or a magazine to see it.
saying?
No,
You can go to Facebook events. If you're lonely as fuck, go to Facebook events. There's something on every
hundreds
day.
of shit. Yeah.
Too much stuff, if anything.
All right, and then lastly, but not leastly, we have a few questions or comments from you guys out there, which is awesome. Thank you for participating. You know, this sort of thing we're going to be doing every week.
Is there?
You know, just interacting in that and seeing what's up. Firstly, got a lot of bullshit ones being like, clearly they're bots. Being like, hey, what do you think of my
photos?
Yeah. Like, not like, if it was like my mixtape, I might be like, oh, maybe this is a real dude. But no. But we got a few. So one of them was from a CJ Wellsmore, saying, on a scale of 1 to stuff, can you explain what this thing you're doing is?
1 to stuff?
It's like from 1 to 10, but he's 1 to stuff. But basically, the question is what we doing?
Talking shit for about an hour, sometimes over. Talking shit about what we want to talk about. 1994 till present, hip hop, culture, and all the rest. Two interesting men. At least we think we're interesting.
I definitely think I'm
just
interested.
giving their old opinion, making something that you can listen to while you're taking a shower, while you're taking a dump, while you're driving to work, while you're falling asleep. That's my favorite way to listen to the podcast, falling asleep.
Falling asleep is definitely a good way of doing it. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. And then we got one from, I'm just trying to find out what LOJM.P.
Oh, that's a trusting
Lojim.P.
username.
And they said, because we talked about Biggie and Puffy last week,
Right.
They said, so what really happened with Tupac?
He's chilling on a beach in Mexico right now. Are
Absolutely.
you
100%.
Are you kidding me?
100%. I'm all over that 7-day theory
Let me
thing.
just drop this mic real quick.
Yeah. Done.
That's chilling on a beach in Mexico.
Yeah. Completely agree with you. And we can dive deep in that like maybe another time.
Yep.
But yeah, he's chilling for sure.
It's kicking with Elvis.
Oh man, could you imagine?
And Saddam Hussein, sadly enough. I know, I said it. I don't think Saddam's dead. Just
Actually, I don't think he is either.
Oh, sorry. I used the wrong guy.
You
I
mean
said Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, I knew who you meant.
I said Saddam. clearly Saddam might be dead. Again, we don't know. Photoshop's a real thing.
And the thing is, Osama bin Laden was part of the CIA, so
Yeah,
it's like you. Anyway,
that's
the
another
whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
If you dig the conspiracy theories,
yeah,
fire them off.
yeah. Because
we love talking about that stuff.
We love that stuff. It's fun. And then is Ms. Kism.
Another trusty username.
He said, when did Lil Wayne sort of fall off? But I think we kind of said, I mean, for me, it was definitely, like, get boring, you know. For me, it was after it came out of Rikers, everything after that, Carter 5 onwards, trash.
The month after Bedrock released.
Oh, yeah?
That was a banger, that song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So everything after that?
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's
fair.
when I considered it to be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm over it. Yeah.
Fair play. And
Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, appreciate for the questions. And then, have you got access to the 94 account? Just have a
Yes.
quick look.
Yeah.
Because for some reason on my iPad, it won't let me look at it.
Let's see. I think I do. No, I don't.
Well, we'll answer them in the stories and stuff if there is any on there. I'm pretty sure I've answered the couple that were actually on there from memory. But yeah, aside from that, make sure you let us know if there's anything that you want us to talk about in particular. Slide into the DMs. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, subscribe,
Apple Podcast.
Click the bell to get the notification.
Ding.
But yeah, thanks for the support and all the kind words that people have been saying. Thanks for the feedback. That's definitely super important for us.
Is there?
But yeah, on that note, peace.
We out.
Peace.